You're good to go.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on our second part of our series of how to market your business in a post-pandemic world. I'm Tom George with the Small Business Development Center at Winthrop University, and again, welcome. You want to just progress the slide to the next? I'm just really briefly going to talk a little bit about what we do. I think everyone is kind of aware of the SBDC, and our mission again is to really help economic development growth in South Carolina. We serve established businesses, new entrepreneurs looking to start a business, and we service all industry segments. We provide consulting services for financial management, marketing plans and strategies, business strategic planning, sales growth strategies, business plans, importing and exporting, government contracting, product commercialization, just to name a few. Our next slide, I think, just has our contact information. Feel free to jot those numbers down if you ever want to reach John or I at the SBDC. But really, we wanted to, I just also wanted to mention really quick that there will be a survey coming out at the end of this. Please feel free to, or please just put your information in there. It helps us decide and analyze what works, what didn't work, what other training we can provide. So it's very helpful. But without further ado, I'd like to just introduce our guest speakers. This second part of the series is Unpacking the Mysteries of Social Media, something that we hear a lot of our clients ask about. And we're very, very fortunate to have Dr. Kara Peters and Dr. Jane Thomas, who work with us quite a bit. We send clients to their classes. So we're very fortunate to have them. And without further ado, Dr. Peters, take it away.
Okay, I'm actually going to start out here today.
I'm sorry.
And I have to, I can share this with this group because we're all here to learn from one another. And I'm amused myself that this morning I've had trouble with my laptop, trouble with IT, and have all the, geek gurus here at Winthrop helping me out today. So if you are out there and you have trouble some days and it just doesn't work right, it's okay. That's where we are today. But thanks for being here. So Kara and I are really excited about this topic today because this is one of the things that small businesses, when my students are working with them, always want to know more about and ask about. So I hope that at the end of our session this afternoon, you'll walk away with a little bit better understanding, perhaps some tools or ideas that you hadn't thought about today. So with saying all that, let's go ahead and get started. So Kara, if you'll take it to the next slide. If you've ever seen the movie Field of Dreams, you remember this is the one where the guy has in his ear whispering the whole time, if you build it, they will come. Well, I think people think that about social media, that if I put up a Facebook page or an Instagram or Twitter, that if I do that, surely it's enough to get and drive business to me. Well, it's not. It's part of your strategy, but it's not your whole strategy. So I wanted to start by just looking at some basic statistics about using and why you should use social media as a part of your marketing strategy. It shouldn't be surprising that 80% of the US population is on social media. A little bit more female than male, but if we were to be looking at the age range 20 and under, they would be about even. The average user is on about 6 platforms. And if you were to think and go, okay, what are those 6 platforms? Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter. And then as business owners, you always need to be thinking about what's new. Well, TikTok is not new, but if you're dealing with a younger age group, again, like 25, 30 and younger, they're on TikTok. They're not on Facebook. But one called Real. It's really kind of fun. You'll have to look it up yourself. But on Real, people actually do a quick second video of their real life and then show it to everybody. It's a lot of fun. It might be like, here's me eating my ice cream and it fell out of the cone. This is my real life. Real is about unfiltered life. So there's always new ones popping up. And so it's a good idea to just know what they are and look at them and see if they're good for you to use. Not surprising that 91% of retail brands use at least 2 platforms, again, so you can meet your different segments. And then consumers report spending 20 to 40% more on brands that they've actually interacted with on social media. What we're finding is having social media almost validates your brand. You know, someone's face to face with you in your store, or your place of service that you give to them, and they go, what's your email address? They also want to go, hey, can I find you on Instagram? Can I find you on Facebook? It's a way just to be legitimate and build more about the brand. So let's look at some facts. 49% of consumers report purchasing something because they saw a social media ad for it. So that tells you that some of those placed and targeted ads that you're considering spending money on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, do work. They are effective. People report making a purchase online or a store, seeing it on Facebook. Again, having your brand out there on social media really just says, hey, this is real, it's legit, and people see it. Pinterest, visitors use that and they look at it for future purchases that they're making. We know that Pinterest is like digital bulletin boards. So if you are a caterer, if you're a florist, if you're doing landscape architecture, you know, even if you're doing things like heating and cooling and painting in a house, having a Pinterest and idea boards is somewhere where your customers are going to be. And then consumers actually who have a positive experience with you on social are going to tell other people about it. The good news is, we can go forward, the good news is that you don't have to be an expert in this. You don't have to go get a certificate in social media or be a household name in order to get good at this. So that's what we're going to talk to you about today. We've developed for you this afternoon what we call our 5 steps for social media strategy. And over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to go through these social media strategy tips. So let's start off with the first one, determining your goals. What should your goals be? Well, there are a lot of different goals you could have, but maybe impressions is one of your goals. That's how many people actually see, lay their eyes on your page. Maybe it's likes. You know, did you get a thumb up? Did you get a heart? Did you get a smiley face emoji? Maybe it's having people put comments up, I love that product, or really cool video, or I need to buy that, whatever the comment is. Community, engaging people and having dialogue back and forth, conversations, purchases. If you look at this first ad here, this Facebook ad for easy lunch boxes, you see here on this Facebook ad exactly what type of goal this lunchbox company has. It says like here. So they're telling you what their goal is. We're going to show you to like it. Or later down there in the bottom, it says in blue, join. Join with us, again, building community of people who are struggling through packing lunches. If we look at the one for money and mastering the game, right there it says available now, purchase. Again, when you look at both of these Facebook ads, you see what their goals were: community, likes, conversations, and then the one on money is about who wants you to buy the book. And then also engage in conversations. As we continue to look at determining our goals, we talk about the 80-20 rule. 80% of your content should be about to educate, inform, and entertain. And the other 20% should be devoted to content selling the brand. Let's talk about what educate, inform, and entertain mean. Educate is where you share your knowledge. Kara and I have a group of students. We actually have taught several members of their family who are involved in residential real estate, and they do a phenomenal job with social media. And one of the things we've noticed as we followed them, again, they're trying to engage with home buyers, is that a lot of their content is about educating. You know, what is all of that language in mortgage and lending? You know, what is PPI? What does all of this mean? So they will regularly, about once a week, put up content helping to unpack the mystery of all of that language that can be very overwhelming to buying a new house. Or maybe you are in heating and air and you want people to understand what is the value of having a professional come in and clean out your air ducts. Again, educating on what your brand, your product, your service is. Informing them, information, tutorials. Here's a checklist for 5 things to look at in your home to see if your heating and air conditioning is working at its efficiency. And then to entertain. These are the fun things, the random things. There's actually an influencer I follow in Charlotte, and she regularly brings her children onto it. It's fun. Or maybe you're somebody like me who actually enjoys scrolling through all those things with dogs. I look at a lot of dog videos because I love dogs and think they're fun, but it's entertaining. But there again, you're putting something up that entertains and brings fun. And then the other 20% is about selling. Here's our new product, come in and try it. Here's our new product, and here's a coupon that you can use to get cents off in it, but actually selling the product itself. So let's look at some examples. In our step number 2, step number 2 is to identify the right social media platforms. As I said a moment ago, we can rattle off 6 that we're probably all familiar with very quickly. And then the new ones, understanding what they are. Each platform has its pros and cons. I always advise people, if you're thinking, for example, about should I be on Twitter? Well, Twitter is really about news and information. Does that make sense for you to be on Twitter? Are you going to have newsworthy information? As depending upon what your small business is, I would say probably not. But maybe you're trying to decide, should I spend some time on Instagram? Well, look at Instagram. Look at what your competitors are doing. Are your competitors on Instagram or products like you? What are they doing with that account? What kind of pictures are they putting up? Or are they doing the short stories, which are very popular on Instagram? What are they doing? So understanding what are the pros and cons, where your customer is, and really where your competition is. Because if your competition is on one of these platforms, you need to be there too. You need to be selective. You cannot do it all. So it needs to make sense where you are. It's hard to do all of them. So match it to your audience. So I want to talk for a moment about Instagram. This is kind of the current darling. Facebook is an older population. It started with young, then the older people got on board and the young people switched to Instagram. And then we all started segueing to Instagram, and then they go, no, we're going to do TikTok. Now we're going to do Reel. But Instagram is still really great to look at it because it is a digital platform about pictures. So pictures that are, just the photograph that you take, but also the Instagram stories, which change every 24 hours. You put it up there, you can put a new one up here. But it's a great way to showcase your products and your services. As you look across at this company called Prepped, this is a company that Karen and I have been working with this spring, and they actually offer a digital wardrobe styling, everything from what to wear to how to do hair and makeup, targeting young adult women. And so as you look across here at Prepped, you can get an idea from these different areas here. If you're a client, what can you expect? What is the spring wardrobe like? What are our top picks if you're getting married, you're going on a date, you are going on a job interview? And then looking at some of the pros who actually are the stylist with Prepped. What do they have to say? And then Prep does events. And so they'll have actually video from current events or past events up there. And then on this site, you can see that they have pictures that are posted regularly throughout the day. And even the owner who's down here on the site, she regularly posts and says, hey, this is me. I'm a mom with a 2-year-old on my hip, and here's what I'm looking like today, as a way to really validate and connect with her customers. So there's a lot of opportunities to not only build community, but there's a lot of opportunities for e-commerce. actually links to your site, to other sites that you're supporting. Instagram is really known for influencers. Now, when people think influencer, you might be thinking someone like the Kardashians, or you might be thinking, is it just my next door neighbor? Well, it can be both. For you as small businesses, you're probably going to be looking at influencers that we call organic. That is your customers, your friends, your family, who are going to like you, who are going to post about you. And Kara's going to talk about hashtags in a little bit, but who are going to use hashtags to help link back to your brand. Those are organic. Influencers that you pay to actually help promote your product or your service, that can get really expensive very quickly. And most small businesses really do not have the financial ability to pay for paid influencers. So you're really looking at the organic ones and developing those.
All right, you ready? Can I go?
You can.
Okay, thank you. So we're continuing with the platform. So just to reiterate the framework here, Jane talked about your need for your goal, which is what you saw should be kind of driving what you're doing in your social media. Should it be likes? Should it be community? Should it be purchasing, conversions, getting people to go to our website, conversation, community? And then the second choice is your platforms, which is where she started, and she showed you Instagram. The Facebook one, you probably know because it is the biggest all-purpose platform. So pretty much everyone is out there on platform. If you have an older audience in any way, you definitely want Facebook. Younger people are also on Facebook, but they just aren't as active with it. It's not their go-to. They're much more on Instagram or the TikTok if you have like a 25 and under audience, but they still may have a Facebook profile. They're just not as active with it. And so Facebook's really good for generating leads, building relationships. It also has excellent e-commerce features, the ability to buy and sell. They have really good advertising tools. So as you saw in the statistics at the beginning, if you want to pay, so you can have your Facebook page, but you can also pay Facebook to run targeted ads. You can give them days, times, information about your target audience. So the ad will pop up to the people that fit. Who you think is the kind of customer you're trying to attract. And they have very high sales and success rates, as you saw at the beginning. That kind of advertising through Facebook does pretty good in terms of getting a response from the consumer. So we like the targeted advertising tools. They also have what they call community building tools in Facebook. And some people don't really understand the differences in these. So you have your Facebook page, like what you're seeing here. That's for everyone. That's for all people who potentially can find you on Facebook. So if you think of something like a church, you might want to have a general Facebook page for your church that shows basic information, what kind of church we are, when we have our services. People can still post on there, ask questions, chat, but you might want to set up a separate Facebook page or a messenger room or have live events just for certain people in your church. So you might want to have a separate group just for people in your church who are doing events for the community, or doing holiday events, or going to have trunk or treats at Halloween, and they have their own separate group within the church for that kind of service or outreach. So groups, messenger rooms, and live events might be a subgroup. You might want to broadcast your events, and that would be through your live events. You could have a Q&A for parents wanting to know more about Mommy and Me and what we offer at our church. And it's not everybody, but it's a subgroup of the church who might want to come to this live event or participate in this subgroup for just moms with kids and the volunteers who run it at the church. So it's not for everybody out in the community. It's for subgroups that have their own specific needs, content that you might want to deliver uniquely to them and not have exposed to everyone. So that's like the groups, the messenger rooms, and the live events. The nice thing about Facebook, which we're going to show you at the end of the presentation, is almost all these tools have a really good set of data for you. And Facebook's pretty easy to use. We're going to show you a picture of it and show you, you can just click on insights and it'll start giving you a lot of information. So unlike traditional advertising, you run an ad in the newspaper, the value to social media and digital advertising is real-time information. So when you run an ad in the newspaper, you don't know if it's really working, except for maybe looking at an increase in sales after you've run this advertising campaign. But sales can be dictated by a lot of things, as you know, change in prices, changes in inflation, changes in the economy, changes in in, shopping behaviors. A lot of things dictate sales, not just your advertising. So it's really hard to measure. And with these online platforms from social media, almost all of them have some type of data they provide you, and you can check really quickly, did that work? I tried entertainment. I tried a video with dogs, like Jane said, or I tried a tips and tricks for how to prepare dinner tonight. Or I showed a fun video of a mom cooking with her baby, and they're two totally different kinds. Which one got me clicks within a few days? Which one got me the most likes? Which one's got me the most impressions? That's all available in these tools. So we like that about Facebook and these other tools. As Jane mentioned, another big platform is Twitter, which you've heard probably a lot about lately, because we all know Elon Musk is in the middle of Twitter right now. Twitter is an interesting one because it takes a lot of time. You can pre-book, as we're going to talk about, but Twitter is a real-time platform. Like what it's really used for: news, articles, blog posts, anything you want to announce, news about your business. We recommend Twitter. It's also good for customer support. So if you want to have a digital venue where someone can ping you and get an immediate answer, Twitter is used for that. They're short messages, very short, and you can do shareable media, like put other things up there, but it's time sensitive. It's news. A lot of people are on Twitter because they want to see what Elon Musk is talking about today, right? Or what's happening in politics today, or what's happening in ESPN sports today. So it's real time. And so for some businesses, it's too time consuming and it's not what you do. But like for a business consultant, this is just an individual man who's a business consultant, Brian Morin. He's using it to put out his weekly newsletter, to tweet about things in his industry or things going on in small businesses that he wants to talk about as they emerge in real time with news and trends. So the next one is TikTok. And as Jane said, this is a video platform. So unlike Instagram, you can embed video on things like Instagram, but it's more about photographs. This is all about having really short, quick videos. It used to be only for younger people, but we're seeing a lot of trending with older adults on TikTok. And this is what this is. So let me show you a couple of examples here. This is Kerrigan Farms. It's a farm, so you can see it right there. It's a little north of Charlotte, if you're from the area, and your kids may know because it's really big for like that 10 to 20-year-old person. But adults go there too. You can see that's a mom. And it's a real functioning farm where they produce product but they have a gravel pit, and they now have lifeguards. They charge, it's up to $25. It used to be like $15, $25. They've added like food and other services. Your kid can go, you have to pre-book now to go there. You pre-book, you make an appointment, you go, you give them your $25. You can buy fries and watermelon and eat there and spend your day at Kerrigan Farms. So they've done a really good job with TikTok, in that they have these great short videos. They're produced by the lifeguards, the teenage lifeguards who work there, putting out just fun videos of someone flipping off of the air, or 100-year-old woman, jumping off one of their platforms, or a little tiny kid jumping off their platform. They'll have these cool videos that are very authentic, very real, produced by themselves, by the people who work there. And they have huge followers for these kind of videos, but it's a farm, and they have expanded their different products, or the different product line, into these different areas. But that's a traditional audience, is a young person who might be looking for them on TikTok. Interestingly enough, though, we're seeing trends, for example, older women wanting to get makeup tutorials on TikTok. So we're seeing a huge growth in an older audience. We'll talk a little bit more hashtags, but you can see Tip Thursday, older women. These are tips for working with older clients. This is the Renata Richard. She's the makeup artist, and she has these very short little videos saying, hey, you want to redo your eye makeup, or you want the best lips for a woman who's mature? Here you go. And so she's getting a lot of following from this kind of audience that isn't traditionally a TikTok audience. So it can be used for everyone. The videos tend to be informative, entertaining, and creative content. So you can see a makeup tutorial is much more information. This is much more entertaining and creative, watching someone do like 5 somersaults through the air. This is a good way. So TikTok doesn't just have to be fun and entertaining. So you can show how products work. You can do behind the scenes, like here's how we're making this, tips. and on how to use your product or what things your company could do, and show a little video of it actually happening, right? You could be a plumber and you could show how this thing's broken, and within 30 seconds you got it working, and you could do a little video of that. Okay. The big thing about TikTok is joining trending challenges. So you've all heard of probably the Tide Pod challenge, where teenagers were eating the Tide Pods, right? Which is really crazy, but there's all kinds of these TikTok challenges. There was one where kids got in trouble because they were going into bathrooms in public schools and like tearing off the doors or destroying the walls. That's all their TikTok challenges. But so there's trending challenges, and some of these might be related to your community or your business or your brand or what you do. And you want to know what those are if you're in TikTok, and join those trends, because that's how you get a wide audience kind of viral or very quickly. Another platform that's video is YouTube, but the contrast is TikTok's very short. The YouTube videos are very long. This is where you want to get a longer video. And again, this is an older woman makeup artist. Here we go again. So I picked purposely the same to show you, here's how it looks on YouTube. It's a 27-minute video, but she has 5 million plus views on how to make your makeup better for an older woman, for a mature face. But what I really liked is, here's her tagline she used on this. Here's how you can get an instant facelift, right? So it's solving a person's problem using a hook to try and help them figure out that I can do this for you. And here's a long video. And then at the end of video, say, if you want to know more, you want to sign up for my services, here I am. The thing about YouTube is, so it's good for in-depth educational content that can be longer content, interviews, tutorials, transformations. We built a new building on our farm. We built a new building at Kerrigan Farms to house blah, blah, blah. You could even speed it up. You could have watched it over months, right? And taken pictures, and then you could do a sped up 2-minute video showing beginning to end how the snack shack was built on, or how this building was renovated at our business. That would be a great YouTube video. The nice thing about YouTube is it's a search engine style of search. So something like TikTok forces videos out there on the kids or the users based off of other things they're watching and looking for and what they know about them with their demographics. But YouTube is more like they want you to use the search engine, type in what you're looking for, and then it pulls up relevant video. And when it's based off the search engine style, you're much more likely to get an engaged user. People will search for, I want an older female looking for makeup, right? And so when you put in that search term, I'm way more likely to click on the video and watch it because I'm looking for something specific, sort of like a search engine. So that's another real value of YouTube. When people do find your videos, it's because you're getting the exact audience of what they want, and a very narrow audience, because they might say, I do this all the time, I'm looking for marketing videos on this specific topic, right? And up comes 4 consultants who are talking about that video, right? Something very narrow and specific. And I went to YouTube and I want this video for something I know I'm going to use it for. So you get a very motivated audience on YouTube versus just throwing up stuff that keeps rolling out there every few seconds on TikTok that just might be junk to the user. Jane mentioned the Pinterest. We always like this one because it's one of the majors, but it tends to be a very woman-oriented site, but they still have men. So I wanted to talk about that too. But it tends to be a female leading site. It's called a social discovery site. And like Jane said, it works kind of like a bulletin board, and you can pin up little pictures, like if you pin them on a bulletin board. But what's cool is that bulletin board picture can link to resources, product pages, content on the website, so you can drive people towards purchase. You can link in your YouTube videos up here. Very visually appealing. The link can go to your blog, and then your blog can link up to your survey, asking people for information. There's lots of ways you can drive this towards other things you might want. Pinterest is really popular for weddings. If you're in any kind of industry related to weddings, so hair, floral, Jane mentioned some of this, restaurants, art, fashion, decorating, design, travel, these are heavily used where people want to go in and see. Gifting is another one. A mom might go in and search birthday gift ideas, right, for teenagers. And then People will put pictures up there of all the cool trending items or how to make a cool gift basket for a teenager and some suggested products. Then you can click on the pictures and get to the product and purchase it and make that gift basket like the mom showed you on here. I wanted to show Nickel's store because this is, like I said, the wedding planning tends to be the bride going crazy, although the men get involved too. And this is, the brides are using this heavily. But when you see something like a man's store, which is a hunting and fishing store, if you know Nickel's store in Rock Hill, it's all for men. They have a good women's selection though. They're on Pinterest. And you can see they have all this men's stuff out there, pictures from their store, visually presented beautifully, but they also have the women's section highlighted here because it is a women's thing, but it's a very male oriented store and product and who they're targeting. And they're still on Pinterest. So it's worth a look. LinkedIn is the next platform. And this is a business platform, but we still recommend you have it and use it no matter what your business is. You should unlock your business profile if you don't already have one. But the real cool thing about LinkedIn, so you can have a business profile, you can focus on targeting other businesses. So even if you're manufacturing something and selling to retailers or selling to middlemen, you still want to be on LinkedIn and have a profile because this is all about businesses. But you can have a business to consumer profile on LinkedIn as well. And you can unlock your business profile where people can find business information about you. It tends to be less, there's some, but there tends to be less, videos of dogs. There's some personal information on there, but much more about your business and what your business is doing. And this is an example. Justin is an alumni from Winthrop, but he works for Chicago Pneumatic. And when I went on their LinkedIn profile, Chicago Pneumatic has its own business profile, but they also had 575 employees, just like Justin, who's posting about his company. And he can put some stuff in there about himself, but Justin is now one of these 575 also promoting. So you can multiply by getting your employees to also post for you on LinkedIn, and you're building out this huge business network and their connections. So everybody that now Justin is connected with through Winthrop now knows something about Chicago Pneumatic, like myself. So it allows you to build out your business network, raise brand awareness. It also is a tool that a lot of people will use when they're looking for jobs or looking to network for jobs. So potentially attracting employees, this is a good source. How do you use it? You want to use it to share company updates, employee success, news releases, media coverage, articles, and blog posts. Like I said, it tends to be less personal. Sometimes you might see personal, like a business owner might get on there and say, I want to celebrate my daughter who just graduated from Clemson University today, right? There's some of that on there. If you do encourage your employees to get on there and help spread the word about your business, you might want to have some rules and regulations, because you don't just want to let people post anything, because you might get negative, you might get stuff that's inconsistent with your brand. You might want to have some rules so you're getting a good post the way Justin has done, right? Chicago Pneumatic is excited to announce our latest product launch, right? And so he's helping promote for the company. And this is clearly something that's consistent with their kinds of information they want out about their products and a picture that's appropriate for the company. Okay, so step one was goals. Step two was choosing the platforms, which you just saw, the different kinds of platforms, and trying to figure out which one's right for you and your audience. Step three in the strategy process for social media is defining your brand's voice. So, okay, I now know my goal is to get people to buy, right? You saw that link, click here and buy my book now. That's my goal. My next step is, okay, I'm going to do that on Facebook. I'm going to have this link on, I'm going to use the e-commerce features on Instagram, for example. Those are my two platforms I'm going to use. Now, okay, now what am I going to say? That's what happens here. This is figuring out what is your brand's voice? What is your company's voice? What is the personality for your company? And then trying to convey that in the content and the information and the pictures you post out there. So how do you want to speak to your audience? How do you want them to see your brand? This can be one image that you try and convey across all platforms, or you can change by platform. So you could have a very serious image for your book on Facebook, click here and buy my book. And you can go out on the TikTok platform and do something more funny, like you jumping off, like you doing a zip line, right? And then holding your book in the air, something funny, right? You're still selling your book, but more entertaining because it's a young video platform. So it can be different by platform. examples to start thinking about is, what is it about your business that's unique? Okay. What is it that would represent the personality? I picked this one. This is a restaurant. You can see, what is the restaurant's personality? There's no butter on this toast, right? Healthy, organic, how they're serving clean, authentic, right? There's not a lot to the picture, is very simple. So you think organic, healthy. That's kind of what they're portraying here versus might be a huge New York style pizza with a lot of people in a restaurant. Totally different kind of image they're trying to portray for their company. But things like funny, formal, serious, organic, or healthy, that could come across. Relatable, friendly, funky, and edgy work well with online, especially if you're targeting younger people, right? You might have a small coffee shop and you want to convey something very different from the serious and engaging feel of Starbucks and have something more funky and edgy and entertaining for a younger, cool, hip audience that you want to attract to your coffee shop. So more things about thinking about your voice and your content as you're conveying your content. So who is the audience? What are they interested in? Okay, so that works back to the first presentation if you were on our first one, but who are they? What are their pain points? What are they into? What's trending with this mom with kids versus trending with this grandma who doesn't have kids in her home, right? They're trending into different things. Who are they? What are they into? What are their pain points? What are their problems with respect to what you sell and how you might be solving their problem? What content do you already have that you can use? So if you already have video, yes, we've been redoing our building, right? We've been building a new building on our grounds and we've been shooting video of that. Can you pre-use that? Yes, you can. You can piece it together with some sound and music and get somebody to help you edit it and make it look cool. Now you can have a great promotional video for YouTube. What kinds of content, if you don't have it, do you need to create, right? If I want to create all these cool little TikToks, how am I going to make them fun and entertaining? Oops, I got a bunch of workers who are 20 this summer. What can they help me produce, right? How can I get that done? The hashtags is a big one. And you saw that on an earlier one. I'm going to show you another example, but we really recommend hashtags and they seem kind of confusing. Not everybody knows how to use a hashtag or what they're for, but they're a really good way to reach your audience. And there's a couple things. I'm going to show you a picture in a second so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with it. But you want to use popular hashtags and niche or niche hashtags. So the popular ones are what's trending. If I'm into hairstyles, which is going to be my example, if I'm a hairstylist, what's trending for hair? My daughter talks about this thing called biolage. And I didn't know what it was. It's a certain kind of highlight process, right? That these young people are into, but she's searching, she wants a stylist who does biolage. Well, that's a popular, trending, new kind of thing for hair, right? But somebody else might want older, right? Hair for a mature woman. So I have a totally different hashtag for myself, right? So what are popular hashtags for your audience? But then what's a niche hashtag or a niche for my business? So I'm Kerrigan Farms, right? I'm a farm with a pit. I'm a farm with a beach. I am in Charlotte. I think they're actually north of Charlotte, right? So like using local terms, using trending. My popular hashtag for the farm might be summer fun, right? Or beach fun. But then my niche might be Charlotte entertainment, Charlotte teen times, okay? So you want to use the hashtag and you want to tag it in your caption. You want to update your hashtags regularly, not every day, once a week, once every 2 weeks. And then the value of hashtags is then you can start looking at other posts that are using that hashtag and then you want to comment on those, not emojis. So not just a smile, use actual words where you're commenting on. So if you're trying to build a community of moms who are looking for things to do with their kids in the summer. And you have a daycare where you can provide entertainment or camps for kids. So you might be commenting on other mom posts or other business posts that might be complimentary, might also be building on that community of moms with kids looking to entertain their kids in the summer. You could comment on like a Carowinds page and and build influence in the community in which you're trying to establish yourself. So this is the picture I showed. This is just, they don't have a really good comment on here, but this is like a picture from a salon and they put soft waves, right? And then this is the stylist, and this is Belle's Zaz Salon. It's in Charleston. I picked a Charleston hair salon and what they were doing. So beautiful picture, right? Current customer, but then look at their hashtags. So they post here and then they post all these hashtags, try and get people to find them and look for them. So Charleston prom hair. Okay, so you can see it there. Charleston hair, CH prom hair, CHS prom hair, right? Charleston blogger, Charleston small business, Charleston salon. Okay, so you can see they've tied it all to Charleston. If this was Biolage, they could have put, right, Charleston Biolage, and that might have gotten some more people like my daughter, even though she's not even interested in prom hair. So who are you going after? But prom hair is certainly an appropriate one as people start looking for styles, and the local stylist who they can book for this service. Okay, so related to hashtags, if you have your ideas, so I think I want to go with prom hair, or I want to go with summer beach fun, you can Google and you can put your ideas for the words you want to use, your hashtags in the search box on your social media sites. You can search for it on Instagram, and then it'll pull up information telling you what's trending, the kind of number of people that are looking at that. So you can get some ideas on numbers and followers. It'll also show you what other businesses are using those terms, summer beach fun or Charlotte summer fun, right? And then you can see your competitors or other businesses that might be complementary in your community. So I could put in Charleston prom, which would have been even broader than what they have. And then I could see other businesses in my community, like prom dress stores that I could potentially partner with or reach out with or host an event with, or tag each other on this social media site to get more leverage off of other people in your community or other businesses that might complement you. And, or you can be also making sure you have hashtags to counteract the competition. Jane mentioned the influencers, and she talked about the need for organic influencers. When we talk about influencers, like Jane said, a lot of people think these are the Kardashians, and you're going to pay $2 million to get Kim to promote your product, which is unrealistic for a small business. But especially for something like Instagram, it's not unrealistic to start thinking about how you can leverage a person, a customer, people in your network, your friends, or what we call micro influencers, which you can purchase and explore. So as when we talk about micro influencers, we're talking about people that have 1,000 to 10,000 followers. And there are people in your church that have this. Okay. There are people at your work. There are people in your friend network or friends of friends that have 1,000 followers. If you went to my LinkedIn page, I probably have 550, and I'm no one, and I'm not super active on there. I'm pretty active, but I'm not super active. So you can find people in your network that easily have 1,000 followers. You can host events. So you might have a wine and dine. Last night I went to one, like Jane said, it was a realtor who's an alumni of our students. And she had come and get a free glass of wine. And she had former friends, her social network, prospective real estate clients, just people like me that are just in her social network, come and get a free glass of wine. And then you could take pictures and video. You could ask the people at the event to take a picture and post it on their Instagram or their social media. And then if they have 1,000 followers, boom, now that you've leveraged your existing customers, your existing network by having an event and asking them to post for you and you posting it. You can also use online tools to help you find influencers, even small influencers, micro influencers like this. Some of the websites that a lot of people are talking about right now are called BuzzSumo, FollowerWonk, and Clear. And you can go on there and for free, even get some base information. And then for small fees, sometimes you can get more information. So if you're just looking for, here's some potential micro bloggers or micro influencers that fit what I'm looking for, you can go on and just do free searches on here and see what comes up. You can reach out to bloggers also that you find and like. So if you find a blogger, charlottemommy.com, and she's promoting products and things in Charlotte to do for children, you can just email that person and say, hey, for free product, will you give me a review? Or how much does it cost for you to promote for me on your blog and on your Instagram? And you can negotiate directly with that person. Sometimes even just free product can get you some marketing, free marketing, or not you have to give them the product. So some marketing, digital marketing for yourself. You can also use your Instagram stories, which we recommend. Facebook has the similar kinds of tools where you want to post your story 2 to 3 times a week. These stay up for 24 hours. We recommend there's a lot more tools being added to something like Instagram on your stories. So you can pose a question on there or a poll or a sticker. And I used IKEA just because it was easy to find, but you can see these are on their story. And then you can see they let people vote on which picture. Do you like the cabinetry better? Or do you like the backsplash better? And I picked this because I could see this as a small cabinet maker, right? There's like a local cabinet maker in Rock Hill. He makes cabinets, or an interior designer in Rock Hill who might have done 2 different rooms for 2 different families, or 2 different rooms in a house, and say, which color paint did you like better? Which rug did you like better? And you can post up pictures of your design work and let people vote and interact. And you're more likely to get a little engagement and interaction with your social media this way. Okay, so that was the 3rd step, which was think about your voice and think about the content, the kind of information you're going to put out there. And then the 4th step in your digital marketing strategy is creating the actual post. This is where the rubber hits the road. Consistency is key. So what I don't recommend is I'm going to build a Facebook page and just leave it. Kind of like Jane said, if you build it, they will come. I am a small gift shop owner, and I've taken some pictures, not of individual products, but I just went into my store and I took a picture of the whole wall, and boom, I'm just going to pop that up on my Facebook page, and I'm going to create a Facebook page, and then I'm never going to visit my Facebook page again because I'm too busy. So we don't recommend that. You want to have some kind of consistency, but you also want to minimize your time. So we recommend building what's called a content calendar. You can hand sketch it out as you see here, but it's very easy to build this thing in Excel. And there's some social media scheduling tools which help you to do this as well. And you can then build out, say, every Sunday night, I'm going to go in and build out all my tweaks, or the first Sunday of the month, I'm going to go build out all the tweets I want to do. And then you can use a tool like I'm going to show you, an online tool that then will send out the tweets according to how I have them scheduled. And then, but you still want it, so you can use a content calendar. You can pre-build in with different tools your social media posts that you plan to put out there. And then you can basically pre-schedule them. And then you can do what's called content batching. So go in, build them out for the month, pre-schedule them, and let the software roll it out for you. So that's one way to manage your time. However, if you do that, you still need to participate and be watching the conversation. You still want to respond to posts. And in our next presentation next month, if you want to come back in July, we're going to give you some tips in that one about how to address concerns and complaints. But we recommend things like participate in the conversation. So I'm in this Facebook foodie page where people post up all these things. Here's a new restaurant. It was so good. And they'll put in a picture. And lots of times people just keep commenting, and you want to get in there, jump in there. If you're that business owner and you see someone posting in this Facebook page, hey, I just went to such and such new restaurant and they had this great pizza. You can write, thank you. You can write, we're adding ice cream next week, right? Or if it's a negative, you can say, thank you for the feedback. We've been really busy with our grand opening. Please email me here. I'd like to give you a coupon for the feedback. You know, you can come back with complaints and respond to the complaints as well. You always want to show appreciation though, even for the negative. This is an example. Hootsuite's a really common tool, but there's a lot of free or low cost tools. Hootsuite's one where it'll let you build in across Instagram, across Facebook, across multiple tools. It'll suck it all in there. You can pre-build in a calendar for what I want to do Facebook on Tuesday. I want Monday to be my tweets, and you can build them all in there and batch the content and then have it go by different social media tools and release for you. It also gives you some data on what's happening across your different platforms. But the platforms also have their own versions of these kinds of tools. It's called Later, the Instagram one, where you can go in and pre-build out your posts in Instagram for your page. TweetDeck is where you can pre-build out your tweets just for inside Twitter. Canva, which also has design function, has this, and something called Buffer, similar, all free to low cost tools where if you learn one of these or you get an intern to help do one of these for you, and they can then help you build across the different social media, keep it in one place, keep it on a calendar, and build out content once a month, for example. Okay. The last step. So we started with goals. We went to choose your platform. Then we said, know your voice and your content. And then we just went with, okay, now you got to actually execute, right? Certain days, certain times, pre-build if you can on a calendar. Then your last step in your social media strategy is to check the data. And this is what we were talking about earlier. This is the real value of social media and digital marketing, is the speed and the ability to adjust what you're doing or reinforce what's working in real time, or that once a month, go in on the first, check and see what worked last month. And then when you're building out your next batch of content, reinforce and go with what worked and throw out what didn't work. You cannot do that with traditional advertising until the campaigns run. You don't know if it worked. And even then the best measure is probably sales. Like we said, comes from a lot of measures. So with this, you can actually see, I posted up a video of this mom with her dog, right? Or I posted up a video tutorial, A versus B. I posted them up the same day and time. Which one got the most clicks? Which one's got the most views? Which one got the most comments? Which one actually led to someone clicking and going to my website? And that's what we do with A/B testing. You can, in 1 week, put up 2 different versions of things to see, is it more informational and tips that people want to see, or is it more education, or is it more entertainment? Which one worked and why? And then you can reinforce by putting up more things like that. And under Facebook, it's as simple as going under your insights. So you have your Facebook page, clicking under insights, and then you can see the different kinds of data available to you that's just visual, and you can quickly start figuring out what's working and what's not. And so we recommend checking the data and then using that information to basically next month create something different that is driving you toward what your goals are. Okay, that's the end of our presentation. Do you have questions?
You know, you had a comment from Beth, and Beth now has a question now. When you were talking about LinkedIn,
Yes.
she mentioned that right now, a lot of LinkedIn is people are giving personal stories. And I agree with Beth. I'm seeing a lot of that.
Mhm.
In some ways. Sometimes I almost wonder, is LinkedIn becoming more like Facebook? So I agree with that. And then she has another question there. Facebook Insights is only for a business page, right? And that's...
Yes, I
Yes,
believe so. I don't
it
think
is.
yeah, you don't get
Yeah.
that for your personal
Right.
page.
That's a
Yeah,
great
so
question.
that's what makes LinkedIn a social media, is it's still social. And there is a lot of this, right? Like I see someone the other day and I commented on it. I loved it, right? His daughter had was Down syndrome and had graduated with a master's degree in art. And this man posted, it was his personal story about his daughter, right, on his page. And that's going to keep people engaged, right? That personal nature. But like that Chicago Pneumatic, they're not allowing their employees to show up with stuff like that, right? If it's your own business and you want to put out your personal story, part of owning a small business is you are the brand, right? So you think of someone like Martha Stewart, she is the brand, right? Or Chip and Joanna Gaines, they are the brand, right? That TV show is you engaging and loving them and feeling their personal nature, even though there's a lot of branding, marketing, information from their HGTV style communication, right? But there's nothing wrong with having a personal component, but you have to be careful because sometimes it gets too personal and people aren't really buying from you. You're just out there talking to people. And in the end, it's 80-20. Yes, you're putting out content to engage and build the relationships and be an influencer in your community and get viral information. But in the end, if you're spending time on this as a business owner, you want to sell, right? You want to increase the product. You want to build your brand. You want all the marketing value to be there too. So it's social. That's the interesting thing about social media, is that's what consumers expect. That's why that 80% should be social, right? Entertaining, information, education. That's what people want when they go to social media. And that's why they read and they engage. But in the end, if you're doing this as a business owner, you should be doing this because it's a business too, right? And you need to make money.
Kara, there's a couple of messages in here, a couple
Yeah.
things in the chat. What seems to work best on Facebook, a group or a page, or would it be beneficial to have both?
It depends on what you got. So like the church example is the way I would think about it, is the page is for everyone out there, right? And you still want to have goals and you still want to think about your target audience, but But as a business owner, you're just because you're targeting someone or you're trying to drive people to buy your book doesn't mean you're not going to turn away everyone, right? So your Facebook page is for everyone out there in the United States that potentially might want to see, just hear anything about me. It's all possible, right? But the groups are if you have sub people. So like at the church, you might want to have a separate group just for a certain kind of volunteers, or just for moms with kids who want to hear about stuff at your church. So I don't want to put that on my main Facebook page because that's not for everyone, right? It's just moms with kids who care about what's going on in Mommy and Me, or what's going on in our Sunday school program. So you might want to have a group for the people that are specific, that are, I have these specific services that, the dads don't care what Mommy and Me are doing, or right, the elderly in my church don't care about what's happening in Mommy and Me, but there's a whole bunch of information I want flowing, discussing, community building for Mommy and Me. I might build that out as a Facebook group just for those people in my church that have this specific niche. So you want to think of your page for everyone, and then use groups for like those sub things that might not be for everyone, or might be information discussed in there you don't want out there with everyone, or might not appeal for everyone. So that's the way I recommend it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
In April, I guess April has a comment.
Okay.
The thing that sucks, sucks about hashtags is that some are blocked because of content. So like drug prevention, I can't say opioid.
Yeah, this is really interesting, right? Is I don't know how to describe it, but the old school computer scientists at Winthrop, we have some, they really believe in freedom of the internet, right? And it's kind of what's going on with Twitter and Elon Musk right now too, right? Is the old school programming type guys who were around when the beginning of the internet came, they were like, no, it should be free for all. Even something negative like using the word opioid, or right. The other day I saw one that was blocked. It was a Twitter that a farmer was putting out there. Okay, this is really weird. And you're learning about me. Jane's going to laugh, but you're learning more about me. But I was reading about potential increases in food prices because fertilizer's up, diesel's up, all the inputs that drive a farm. You and I just see food in the grocery store and we see the price. And I'm trying to understand what's going on with the farmer. And this was a woman who'd put up a video on Twitter saying, I'm a farmer. My margins are I'm barely making it for my family. And I don't have enough money to put diesel in the tractor. There's going to be no crop. And people don't understand in America, and government doesn't understand, and policymakers don't understand. If we don't start helping farmers right now, we're going to have an issue. They had blocked her. They said it was sensitive content. And I think she did say shit in it. So excuse my language, but they blocked her. And so even something to me that people should be hearing about and thinking about, and, preparing for your family as food prices go up, they're getting blocked.
Yeah.
And who's deciding that, how that gets decided, there's a whole bunch to it. And so there's not freedom of the internet. There's not. And if you're in a certain industry, you need to understand what those words are that might get you blocked to still be able to get your message out there. Like opioid is a good example, right?
Well, and also remember that the person making the decision about whether or not to block this is not some great corporation. It's 2 or 3 people who they've assigned this task to.
And it could be an algorithm. It could be they've just set up an algorithm to block, and they're really not understanding that they don't want to block education about opioids, right? But they just block everything with opioid because that's how the program works, right? It's easiest to just say nothing with opioid because we don't want people advertising these things, right? Drug dealers or something. But instead it's blocking out where you might actually want to be talking about how to help people with mental health or help people with getting treatment.
Yeah.
There's a couple more comments. This comment's from Beth again. My learning is that Facebook business pages are not successful unless you pay to play. Also, be sure don't use hashtags that belong to a company or brand. And the example she put is hashtag Toys R Us.
Yes. So there's a whole bunch. It's like any advertising, right? What you can say and how you can say it about a competitor, especially a large competitor, because a big competitor can file a complaint against you, which now gets you a letter from an attorney just to get you started, right? But potential lawsuit. So yes, if it's copyrighted term, don't ever use it. Right. And you can research some of this because sometimes it might but if it's a small one, they're probably not going to catch it. That sounds weird,
Yeah.
but that's how it kind of works. Like people do a lot of things that are not right in a business perspective, but unless it gets caught or tagged or you get an attorney involved, sometimes it all goes through. So yes, there's a copyright issue. What was the other one? Facebook. Yes, all social media wants there. It's not, hey, they're making money and they want to encourage you to make money. And it's not, again, it's not free form like the original, like the internet started out, and it's not like that anymore either. There's some screening and regulation going on, but social media are definitely like that. The people on Facebook are there to make money, and they're gonna promote things and do things. And search engines are like this, which we didn't talk about today, but search engine optimization, when you put in, you want a search term and get your website to go up, the formula and the algorithms that these companies use, you get way more if you pay for the advertising. If you use more Google platforms, like you could have a Google business page, but if you are paying for Google advertising, Google AdWords, they're going to drive up your search engine.
Yep.
So things look on the
I noticed
internet
that.
and on these social media pages like
Yeah.
they're egalitarian, like it's everything for everyone and it's equal. It's not.
Yeah.
The more you do, if you spend on Facebook advertising, the more likely they're going to pop you up in rankings or things that come up. Yes, that's very true. And so you just got to know it's not just build it. If you really want to push it, starting to invest in their advertising, you'll see some increases and better things for your page, because these are companies that are also trying to make money.
And there's just one last comment, and Google blocked, this is from Patrick, Google blocked a good review from a customer. It would not allow it.
That happened to someone. He had a good review and it got blocked.
I think that has to do with if somebody puts in, if you get a series of reviews very quickly, I think Google is looking at it. Again, these algorithms are very
They think
sophisticated.
you're manipulating
Yeah,
it,
they
you
think you're
block it.
spamming them. So that's what may have happened like that. I think I've heard that before.
And it could be certain words again get blocked. Like, yeah, that makes sense to me, because Google also wants to make, Google and Amazon, true, both have dealt with false reviews, right? Companies paying people to go in. Somebody from China has 500 people go in and make these fake reviews, right?
Right.
And they're, again, using algorithms. So they don't really know what's real, but they're just using some kind of computer program that tries to detect what's real or not.
Yeah.
And that might be blocking. The other thing is I've been doing some stuff with the Better Business Bureau, and I noticed it was about a complaint. I was looking at complaints about a company, and there was a celebrity with the company, and it was like they blocked if the person used the celebrity's name, because they would call the celebrity or the famous owner of this business. Like when the people were trying to talk about what they wanted to talk about, they were purposely not naming. And so I think when they use the name of the celebrity, which is also copyrighted, right? Even though they were complaining about the celebrity's company, it was blocking them. So to get around it, the consumers who were trying to complain about this, they're like, this doesn't seem consistent with Tom Hanks, but they wouldn't say Tom Hanks. They would say with the person who Top Gun, with the person who just starred in Top Gun. Like, I mean, it was, so again, the Business Bureau doesn't want to get sued, or there's copyright issues that you might have to know and get around if you're trying to still do this kind of thing and get information out there. Yet you might have to check the copyright and the rules.
Or if it's anything you could get sued for, it is the copyright thing about brand names, personal names, or anything that.
Yeah, saying
someone
something
can
negative
sue
about the
for.
celebrity might get you in trouble all of a sudden.
Yeah, because I had one that I did for a business recently and it got taken down. Google blocked it. And so when I sent it to someone who's an expert, they're like, oh, you use this brand name. And so there's just little things, again, the algorithm that's looking through it rather than a human eye.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This was very, very wonderful. We really appreciate it. Again, everyone, I'll remind you, you will be getting a survey from the SBA. Please take some time to fill it in. It's very helpful to us. And again, I'll remind everyone, this is the second part. We're having another marketing webinar in July, I believe July 14th, and that will be on customer service. So hopefully you can join us for that. Thanks, everyone. And without further ado, take care.